just look into what is the meaning of the word organization structure. Organization structure is the outcome of the organizing process. When you look into the types of organization structure, we can see that they are classified under two categories, that is functional structure, second one is divisional structure. It makes training of employees easier as the focus is on a limited range of skills. Hello everyone, I am Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence. In this session 2 on Organizing chapter, we will be discussing about the various organizational structures which are existing in the organization. Now, let us look into what is the meaning of the word organization structure. Now, if you can see this picture here, there is one person sitting here and under him we have 3 persons and under each person we have 2 other persons. So, if you can see this picture here, it represents an organizing structure. So, how the organization runs. Now, this person is he may be the top management, then we have the middle management, and then we have the lower levels of management. Now, in this picture, if you can see, there is a chain of authority. Now, what is this chain of authority? So, this person will have this authority over all this next level of person, and each person will have 2 persons working under him, and again under this person we have another set of persons, and under each of them we have 2 individuals working. So, in this diagram, it is clearly shows us the authority and reporting relationships in an organization. Now, this as a whole, we can call it as a organization structure. Now, we'll just look into what is the meaning of the word organization structure. Organization structure is the outcome of the organizing process. Now, in the process of organizing, what do? First thing is we divide the jobs, we identify the jobs, divide the jobs, then we have the departmentalization, then we have assignment of duties, then we have clarity of working relationships. So, the outcome of all this is this organization structure. So, when you are dividing the jobs, then you are creating job positions, you are creating departments. So, and then you are giving authority and responsibility to each position. So, all this just be the organization structure. It gives rise to an organization structure. So, the outcome of the organizing process is a organization structure. Now, an effective structure will result in increased profitability of the enterprise. So, when you have a proper organization structure which is well clarified, well defined, only then we can have profitability of the enterprise. So, you can have a very good running enterprise. So, the need for an adequate organization structure is felt by an enterprise whenever it grows in size and complexity. So, whenever the business expands and whenever there are large number of employees who are recruited every day, and then we need to have a proper organization structure so that you can distribute the work among everybody and there is no confusion in the organization. And whenever the organization grows in leaps and bounds, we should have an organization structure to manage the employees. Then next, the organization structure can be defined as the framework within which the managerial and operating tasks are performed. So, it is the framework. So, you will be clearly defining which department has to do what job. So, again going to the example of purchase department. So, it will be relating to only purchases of the organization. So, the purchase departmental head and all his subordinates will be doing all the work related to purchases of the organization. So, they will be working within the managerial and operational tasks perform. Then it also specifies the relationships between people, work and resources. So what is the work to be done by the people of that department, and also the work to be done, and also the resources to be used. So all this will be in the organization structure. Then what else it helps is, it also allows correlation and coordination among human, physical and financial resources. So there is proper coordination and correlation among the human resource. So whatever human resources are there, so you will be giving them the authority and responsibility relationships. Then physical and financial resources. So physical resources means it may be the raw materials, or it may be the other resources which you may be providing them to work in the organization, and also the financial resources. So what is the finance you have set aside to get the job done? So you are bringing a coordination and cooperation and the best utilization of all the resources in the organization to help the business to achieve the desired goals. So whatever is the desired goals of the organization, it can be achieved when you have a proper organization structure. Then next, we'll look into this. When you think about organizational structure, you also have to know what is the meaning of this word span of management. Now, what is this span of management? It refers to the number of subordinates that can be effectively managed by a superior. So, for one superior, how many subordinates he can handle? So that is what we call as the span of management. If you can see in this drawing here, there is one superior and there are 3 subordinates who are working under him. So subordinate 1, 2 and 3. So they come under this person. Then under this subordinate, she has 2 more subordinates. Then under him, you have 2. Under this person, there is 1 subordinate. And under this person, they have again 2 subordinates each. So this is the span of management. So one person can effectively handle 8 to 10 persons. So depending on the level of management. If you go to the lowest levels of management, one person can handle 10 to 20 persons because they will be doing the same type of job. So depending on the type of job, we can just decide the span of management. So it refers to the number of subordinates that can be effectively managed by a superior. Then this determines the levels of management in the structure. So depending on the level of management, we can also decide the span of management. Now let us look into what are the different types of organizational structures. So when you look into the types of organization structure, we can see that they are classified under 2 categories, that is functional structure. Second one is divisional structure. Now if you can see here, there is a chain of authority running in this and the superior subordinate relationships which are clearly mentioned in this diagram. Then let us look into the first type of organizational structure, that is the functional structure. Now, what is this functional structure? So, if you can see here, it is a structure based on the functions which are performed in the organization. So, we have the HR function, marketing function, research and development and purchasing function. So, for each function of the organization, you have created departments and each of these departmental head will be reporting to the managing director of the company. So, this is an example of the functional structure. Now, let us look into the meaning of the word functional structure. Now, grouping of jobs of similar nature under functional and organizing these major functions as separate departments creates a functional structure. Now, grouping of jobs. So, you are grouping the jobs. As I told you earlier, all purchases will be handled by the purchasing department, all research and development. So, research and development jobs. So, persons who are engaged in research, so they will be in this department. All marketing related activities will be handled by the marketing department, and HR related. So, whether it is recruitment of the people or promotion, transfer, everything will be decided by the HR department. So, you are grouping the jobs based on the functions performed by that particular set of people. So, grouping of jobs of similar nature under functional and organizing these major functions as separate department, you create a functional structure. So, based on the functions, you are creating various departments in the organization. Now, all departmental heads report to a coordinating head. So, here the MD is the coordinating head. So, for example, in a manufacturing concern, the division of work into key functions will include purchase, production, marketing, accounts, and personnel. So, you can see if it is a manufacturing concern, what are the different departments. So, you may have a production department, you may have a purchase department or a marketing department, and accounts department and a personnel department. So, depending on the functions in the organization, you create various departments for handling each type of function in the department. So, I hope you have understood what is the meaning of the word functional structure. Now, let us look into what are the advantages of having a functional structure. Now, in a functional structure, it will lead to occupational specialization. Why it leads to occupational specialization? Because their emphasis is placed on specific functions. So, what are the functions to be done by the persons in that department? So, you will be focusing them on doing only those functions. So, in other words, you are creating specialists out of them. So, this promotes efficiency in utilization of manpower, and employees perform similar tasks within a department and are able to improve their performance. So, they will be able to improve their performance because they will be doing the same jobs day by day, and they will become specialists in their field. Then, the second advantage is it promotes control and coordination within a department because of similarity in tasks being performed. So, each of the persons in the HR department will be doing jobs related to the human resources. So, what will happen is you will be indirectly, there will be proper control and coordination in the department because of similarity in tasks, because these persons will be doing the same job, and so they will be well versed in that. So, this will help in proper coordination and control in the department. Then, the next advantage is it helps in increasing managerial and operational efficiency, and this results in increased profit. So, when you are getting the work done by the specialist, so you will be getting the work done effectively and efficiently, so which will increase the profits of the organization. Then, the next advantage of having a functional structure is it leads to minimal duplication of effort, which results in economies of scale, and this lowers the cost. So, there is minimal duplication. So, you will be seeing that each person will do the job, and as a result of which there will be no overlapping of jobs, and it will help in economies of scale. So, you can get the best work done with the least cost. Then, next advantage of having a functional structure is it makes training of employees easier, as the focus is on a limited range of skills. So when you are hiring the persons, so you have to give them proper training. So when you are dividing your organization on the basis of a functional structure, you will be giving them a certain limited functions, set of functions to be performed. So when you are giving training to them, you just train them for those skills only, for those functions only. So you will be getting a skilled worker in your organization. Then it also ensures that different functions get due attention. So all the functions of the organization are properly looked after. So in this way, coming to the disadvantage of the functional structure, let us look into what are the various disadvantages of this functional structure. Now, the functional structure places less emphasis on overall enterprise objectives than the objectives pursued by a functional head. So, in a functional structure, the functional head will have the objectives for his department. So, those objectives become more important than the objectives of the enterprise as a whole. Then, such practices may lead to functional empires where the importance of a particular function may be overemphasized. So, one functional department, for example, if it is the marketing department feels that it is the only department which is bringing revenue to the organization, and it thinks it is more important than other departments. So when such an attitude comes in the minds of this marketing department, then it will be difficult for it to coordinate with all other departments. So a marketing department can survive only when there is proper production in the organization, and only if there is proper production we can always market the goods. So all the departments in the organization have to be given proper and equal importance, only then the business can run. But in a functional organizational structure, the functional heads, if they feel that their department is more superior than the other departments, then it may try to create a functional empire which may break away from the whole business enterprise as a whole. So we have to see that this does not happen in any business organization. Then we have to see that pursuing departmental interest at the cost of organizational interest can also interaction between two or more departments. So we have to see that there is lot of interaction between the departments, and the organizational interest as a whole should be taken care of. So this is one of the biggest disadvantage of having a functional structure. Then looking into the second disadvantage, what does it tell us? It tells us that it leads to problems in coordination as information has to be exchanged across functionally differentiated departments. So there may be problems of coordination among the departments because each department is functionally different from each other. Then the third disadvantage of a functional structure is a conflict of interest may arise when the interests of two or more departments are not compatible, or when you should see that there is no conflict of interest among two departments. So let us take the example here. What does this example tell us? In this, the sales department insists on a customer friendly design which may cause difficulties in production, and such dissension can prove to be harmful in terms of fulfillment of organizational interest. Now, the sales department wants a customer-friendly design which may cause difficulties in production. So, if there is a feedback from the customer relating to the design of a product, then the sales department will just tell that, communicate to the production department. But the production department feels that such a design is not in the best of the interest, or it may prove too costly for the organization. Now, so these things can prove harmful for the organizational interest as a whole. So, what should we do? We should see that interdepartmental conflicts can also arise in the absence of clear separation of responsibility. So, in order to avoid this conflict, we should see that there is a clear separation of responsibility. Only then we can avoid this conflict of interest in an organization. Then the fourth disadvantage, so it may lead to inflexibility. Inflexibility means people will be, when they are doing the same job again and again, they don't think of any other things. They become inflexible. So you will be creating the people with same skills and knowledge, and they may develop a narrow perspective. So they will be just thinking on those lines only. They don't think about the organizational interest as a whole, and so they will be having difficulty in appreciating the others' point of view. So others' point of view, what others are telling, if anybody is giving them suggestions, they don't want to accept, because they will be in a fixed framework, or they will be thinking on in one particular direction itself. So they don't look into the others' point of view. And then functional heads do not get training for top management positions because they are unable to gather experience in diverse areas. So the functional heads, they will be doing the same job again and again. So when they do the same job again and again, they don't get experience in other areas. So in other diverse areas, they will not have any experience. So they will not be able to handle the top management positions. So this is the another disadvantage of the functional structure. Now let us see for what type of organization it is suitable. The suitability, it is most suitable when the size of organization is large and has diversified activities and operations which require a high degree of specialization. Now, this type of a functional structure, it can be utilized only when we have a very big organization, very huge organization which has diversified activities. There are so many activities, and then operations which require a high degree of specialization. So you need to have specialists who are in the field. Only when you need specialists to work in the organization, in such an organization, you can have this functional structure. Otherwise, this functional structure cannot be had in any business organization. So if you want to have a functional organization, you need to have a very large business with very number of activities which require specialists in that field. Only then a functional structure will run. So we have come to the end of this session. Hope you have understood what is a functional structure in an organization. Thank you.